How freaking cool is this, man? No, seriously. I actually haven't seen the build get to this point, so I'm pretty excited. This is absolutely crazy.
What's up, guys? I'm Matt Sullivan, and welcome to episode 2 of the REVV Show. Today, we speak to Arran and Billy from Grease Monkey Games to find out exactly what they've been building for Torque Drift 2. In the episode, they reveal some cool new features such as the garage, customization, and much more, so you're not going to want to miss it. But before we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button with notifications turned on so you don't miss any future videos. Now let's get into it. Hey Arran, Billy, how's it going?
Howdy.
Nice to see you guys. Look, I'm dying to get a peek behind the curtains and see what you guys have been working on. But before I do, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves? Arran, would you like to go first?
Sure. My name's Arran. I am the director and founder of Grease Monkey Games. I am, to the core, a massive motorhead, so I love everything cars. I'm also a game developer. Grease Monkey Games started 10 years ago. And basically, we've been making our own IP since we started. We did some service work at the start and built it all the way up to what you see now, what you're going to see some of today. Prior to Grease Monkey Games, I used to do visual effects, and I come from a very much a visual effects background. And I used to do commercials, a little bit of film, but nothing to claim of any value. I like really high quality visuals, and hopefully that comes through in what you guys see.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Billy.
My name is Billy. I'm the COO here at Grease Monkey Games. Been around just over 8 years. Back in the day when the company was called League of Monkeys. I've kind of in that time worn all the different various hats that you do when you're in an indie game studio and kind of building products. A lot has changed since then. I think Aaron's nodding. A lot has changed. Maybe 4 or 5 people, and now 60 plus. It's great. We get to make kick-ass games. But I kind of primarily focus on the product and kind of the structure of the company, making sure that we can make a successful product and get it out and get it to people to see. What else? Big car head as well. My dad was a diesel mechanic in the army, so I spent my childhood kind of in the country pulling apart cars. We had some property, so I would take the cars out and we'd do donuts and drifting before I even really knew what drifting as a professional motorsport was, and before I could legally drive on the road, mind you. But we'll keep that quiet. So I kind of really wanted to do something in the interactive media field, and found League of Monkeys doing games and doing car stuff, and I'm like, I want to work there. And we've been lucky enough to be at the company to see all of these games being made and be able to be part of the growth and innovation. So I'm stoked to be here and working on this new project.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, both of you guys have such interesting backgrounds, and obviously a lot of that's kind of led you to where you are now. Like you said, the studio's grown from 5 of you guys to now a massive studio. So this is clearly not the first thing you've been working on, and Torque Drift 2 and Torque Motorsport as a brand. So what brought you guys as a studio to this point?
I don't know. I think we, from the very start, I never really thought it would get this big. So we're pushing 70 staff now, and we'll probably grow a little bit more than that. Maybe we might top out at 100 over the next year or two. It's all dependent on success and how we move forward. But I never really expected it to be like this. I always pictured a smaller studio. That was like the early days, we started at 5, and at the point when we got acquired by Animoca, we're about 25, and in that year and a half we've actually hit 70. So it's happened fast. 10 years has gone like in blink of an eye, and but it's been fun, like we kind of, as a Animoca is our first investment company, so like our first any kind of outsource investment. Everything else was bootstrapped. We just built it up from scratch, and any money we got, we just hired more people and just kind of grew like that. Something that I'm like crazy proud of, and I also kind of like the way we make games too. So we try and sign a lot of deals, and you know, we have drift cars ourselves. Like if you go literally walk out that door, you can see some of our drift cars that we have in the studio, and just trying to kind of tie it all together. Like, you know, it's kind of fun making games, it's fun drifting, and it's, you know, just let's meet these worlds together.
It kind of started, like as Arran mentioned, his background and kind of history working in film and TV. Decided to co-found League of Monkeys, and pulling over a bunch of that client base, working with large automotive companies like Nissan. Do any work with Toyota?
No, we did Nissan, Honda, and there was some Mazda work as well. Yeah, so the Honda, I remember at the LA Auto Show, we did the VR kind of, we had these giant modelled helmets, and you put your head in, and there were VR goggles in there, and you played with a controller. So it's like, it was kind of funny looking, but it was awesome. Yeah. Maybe we can run some B-roll on that, but it's cool.
And at the same time, they were working on Torque Burnout as kind of like a side project. And when that finally came out, you know, the idea was that it would be a crazy success, and we'd be able to stop doing the service work and focus on building our own IP. And you know, luckily enough, or you know, everything worked out and it was a success, especially in Australia, where like burnouts are really big, and it kind of amassed a cult following there. It was kind of like the first game of its kind, and allowed the company to step away from service work and just focus on making niche motorsport games, and that's kind of how it all started. And then after we were kind of, the Torque Burnout had been out for a few years, and you know, as a games company, you've always got to be looking to that next product. And Arran was, Arran, you want to talk about how you picked drifting?
Burnout's our first IP, was very Australian based, very Australian focused. I think it was like 60 to 70% of our revenue came from Australia. And Australia is a very small country, so you know, like we're 23 million, I think, here. When you compare it to America, it's 350 million. It's a very, you know, you're talking very, very different numbers. So we really looked for a motorsport that was more global. And you know, like I love all motorsports, but then you have to find your niche within the motorsport genre. And drifting, there are lots of drifting games out there, but we really kind of tried to embrace it and sign some really amazing deals, and make something actually unique to the industry. It's been kind of a bit of a crazy ride. I never like doing your own IP it's such a different angle to doing service work. Like service work, you have one client, and that one client will bust your ass, and they'll try and pay the least amount of money, and they want the most amount of work, and then when the work's done, they're like, see you later. You know, they don't care what you're doing next, and you have to try and align the next job, which also involves chasing money from the previous job. And then you move into this, you know, making your own IP, and making games, and you have, you know, we've had 40 odd million downloads for Torque Burnout. You have millions of clients, you know what I mean? And you start, you know, you're doing a lot of social work, and you're commenting on Facebook and Instagram and stuff. So it's a very different business. And I really haven't looked back at all. I think making your own IP is crazy exciting. And it's kind of, it's like it's yours, you know what I mean? Like, yes, drifting is, you know, it's a global motorsport, but what we've created within the studio is, you know, it's all on us, and we're super proud of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the IP that you built is amazing. Like, I've got, one of your bobbleheads over here, and just everything around your brand is,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, that was awesome. So yeah, no, really, really cool what you guys have done with Torque Drift 2 and everything with Torque Motorsport and moving forward. A lot of it's going to be leveraging blockchain and a lot of the kind of the beauty that is Web3, I guess. So what is it about that excites you guys?
this like
or scares you guys?
No, like, of course, like you say, like the beauty, like there are definitely, there's something quite magical about digital ownership that has not been captured in any kind of Web 2 space. So I think, particularly for what we're doing, where there's a lot of collecting, there's a lot of lore, and there's a lot of fans of these brands that we sign. And there's like a history that you can build up. So Web3 brings a lot of that to the table. And I think players, when you think about like cars in general, the history and the legacy of cars just goes so far back. It's amazing to bring that to the people, and it still has value. You know what I mean? Like, we make cars in Torque Drift 2, which are 50 years old. That they're as old as me. So, that's crazy because people want them. They want to customize them, and with Web3, kind of you get an extra level where people will be able to buy parts and buy the car, and then they can sell it to other people. It's awesome.
And from like we think a lot internally, like blockchain and NFTs at a technology level. Like it's a technology that can be used for lots of different things. I think the best descriptor I've heard of it is like it's a blank web page. Like a blank web page can be used to make lots of different things, and we've seen that over the last 10, 20 years. All of these amazing ways to connect with each other, or experiences, or ways to improve people's lives. Like that's how we think about blockchain, and then we go, okay, what can a blockchain do? And then we pick it apart, and we figure out how we can make unique game design decisions to make it more valuable and more interesting for a player. And so we kind of, we've been making these games, free to play motorsport games on mobile and PC for such a long time now. And one thing we notice is how much value that the players bring to the games and the communities that they build. And like, we have people making features like crews and stuff outside of the game because we didn't have that feature in there. So they've created their own crews on Instagram or Facebook and running their own tournaments, like kind of leveraging our tools and features in the game.
Handing out prizes, having their own leaderboards, and
doing their own streams. They've got their own rule book. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like you can't, in a company too, you can't force culture. It's like the same time you can't force community. It's like the community is built on the back of the tools that you give it, and hopefully you've done it in a way that is compelling and something that they want to build on. Do you know what I mean? And so we see all of this value from the player base being generated, and there not being a way for them to be part of the success of the game, like financially, is one aspect, and blockchain just gives that an avenue. Now, I don't think anyone believes that it should be financial. It's kind of like, but it should be an option. It should be the ownership of something to decide what to do with it. And like Arran said, like these NFTs can have history and can kind of generate value on top of what we kind of give it. And that's something that is really unique and really, I think, interesting in a video game space. Players can build up their legacy, and Arran's cars might be more popular than mine because he's got a sick livery on it. He's won a bunch of tournaments, and even if we've got the same variant of car as an NFT, and that's super compelling. Is like we wear our game design hats and we're like, what can we do? And that's one of the things we can do with it. And it's like,
firstly, I agree.
Yeah, no, it's
are going to be worth it.
Yeah. I don't doubt that, and seeing how the ability to track provenance with a digital asset, and also one thing that you said before about having these communities formed around your game and having these mini communities with their own leaderboards and their own, you see the modding communities and stuff like that. I think for now with Web3 and blockchain, you're able to form these DAOs kind of in an official capacity and sub DAOs within these larger organizations. So it is fascinating to see where this technology can take us. And I guess a follow-on question from that, and I know I'm keeping a lot of our viewers in suspense because there's a lot we want to show them. But what do you think is a challenge, and why is the traditional gaming space still so kind of negative? Well, why is there such a negative connotation when it comes to NFTs and digital assets?
I've got a strong opinion. We both got similar opinions on this. I think one of the main issues is, we'll go back to that blank webpage, right? It's like, there's so many scams on the internet. Like, imagine if your first experience of the internet is just getting scammed and like losing money or losing, credit fraud or something. Of course, you're gonna be like, this internet stuff sucks. Like, all that happens, I go on there and I get a pop-up and I click through and I lose money. It's like, of course, just like blockchains, there's a lot of scams there too, and people lose money, and that's kind of the impression that's left and what is distributed in the media. But that's obviously not the only use case, and I think it's a marketing and branding issue more than anything. It's like, you see Reddit's entry into the space, their NFTs, and the way that it was handled, the way that the value was kind of proposed to the community was really well received by and large. And I think it all just comes down to, you have to have a good use case and a good product, and people kind of, players and gamers will understand once you show. So kind of force it.
Yeah, I definitely think the branding and images plays a large part of it, and I think some negative things have hit the media, and we almost need to break through that and just show what the value proposition is for the players. I think that it's quite it's, even though it's been around for like 8 years, 10 years or whatever, that it's still quite a young tech, and I find like the more we work with other developers and companies, that we're still, even to this day, exploring what's even possible. Like it's the concept around digital ownership, and then what it opens up is quite limitless, and I feel that we haven't even touched the surface. And I also think that the infrastructures around a lot of the gaming experiences, once they kind of smooth out the onboarding process and make it, standardize it and whatever, then it just becomes a million times easier for the user. Like Apple and Google could quite simply make it part of their sign-up process, and then all of a sudden they've got millions of users using it without even knowing, and they could have some digital ownership assets. So it's really the what's going to happen. There's going to be early adopters of this tech, and then eventually the bigger players will come around, and it's definitely happening.
Just say as well, Matt, like the other difficult thing using a new technology is, well, especially when it involves money, is the regulation. And I think just in the past few days even, these things are coming out, we're finally getting clarity, and we're able to navigate as a business. Like, everyone wants to do the right thing. It's like, just tell us what the right thing is, and we'll do that. But until then, it makes it tricky trying to make sure that you're doing just to make sure you're doing the right thing, right? So that's one of the other things where you have to be much more involved in that as game devs.
For sure. But hey, you guys are here to lead the way, and that's very exciting. And at the time of recording this, Google have actually come out and launched a new feature and opening things up a lot more through the Google Play Store and stuff. So that's very exciting to see, and hopefully that that is what takes us in the direction of solving the onboarding issue. So final question before we jump into the really cool stuff. obviously, with Torque Motorsport, part of Animoca Brands, part of the REVV Motorsport family, there's the question of adopting all the NFTs, interoperability, and there's also utilizing a digital currency like the REVV token. What kind of benefits does that bring to an ecosystem?
So I think there's been a lot of talk about interoperability, and there are a lot of things that have to happen for that to be viable. Like when you talk to us as game devs, where like works in theory. How do my 3D assets and textures convert from Unreal to Unity? How does that work? How does it look? What if the assets are branded? How does the licensing convert? What about revenue share models?
Royalty splits. Yeah,
all
absolutely.
All that stuff. And so when we think like internally, we have a host of products in the Torque franchise, and we think externally to Animoca, like we have in the short to medium term an actual opportunity to make this work. With a substantial offering. And so especially with vehicles, which is something that translates really well to NFTs and blockchain and interoperability, because an engine is an engine. You look at the real life, you're like, what's the horsepower? What's the torque? What's it made of? How much have a turbo?
How much does it weigh?
Yeah. And so those things, instead of like a sword, like my sword has 10 power and Arran's like, well, mine, that doesn't work in my economy. It's like, what do we do now?
So furthermore to your point, Matt, it's like you're asking how can one economy stretch across multiple games and titles. I think the concept, like I love the concept. It opens it up. It's like, imagine you built a car up in one game. It has all this history, and then this other game pops up, and you can put it in that. Do you know what I mean? And people who are playing both can go, oh, I saw that. I know that person. I think, like, as a story, it's really powerful stuff. Now, whether that turns up or not is that's our job. Do you know what I mean? Like we have to take all this talk and unintended. And actually make it happen. And I think that's the biggest barrier is everyone in this space, yourself included, Matt, and everyone that I meet at Animoca, they all talk utility, and then that next step is quite a big step. Do you know what I mean? Actually doing it and getting it. So to give you a really good example, so we were in Unity and we moved over to Unreal, and then like our sister company at Eden still uses Unity. They do some amazing stuff, and we're doing stuff in Unreal, and all these assets, like you can think the NFT absolutely can have utility. It can unlock items, but from a game developer angle, we have to create the assets to work in both experiences.
You still need to build it, right? Yeah.
Yes, you still have to build it, and you still have to unlock something. Do you know what I mean? And when you make these high quality games, it takes time, effort, investment to make that happen. Now, so the question you'd have is, for the other company, why would they do it to unlock our NFTs? And what's in it for them? And then you talk about like Rev, and then so the ecosystem benefits, and that to me is kind of exciting. But then that ecosystem requires investment and nurturing and time, and so it's really kind of an interesting concept and initiative, and we're just doing everything we can to make it happen. Like I would love your viewers to kind of think about us and what it actually means for us to do this stuff, and hopefully show us some love in the development process, because it's quite tricky.
Yeah, well, off the back of that, why don't we show people what they're here for? You guys have been working on the first feature set of Torque Drift 2, which I've seen, which I'm super excited about. So why don't we roll the trailer? Oh man, that gave me chills. There you have it, guys. That's the teaser trailer for the Torque Drift 2 game. So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the trailer, when did we finish that, Arran?
Probably
about a year.
It's about a year ago, actually. And it was our first. We had obviously been working on Torque Drift 2 for a while prior to working on the trailer, because all those assets are actual in-game assets. It's all in-game, all done in Unreal Engine. And we were doing it in Unreal 5, and any of you techies out there know the 3D space and development. That was like a preview. It wasn't even fully released, so it was buggy and rendering. It was crashing, and I remember doing the trailer. I got back on the tools myself, which is actually crazy. But I was like, it was like 2 a.m, and trying to render this stuff, and it would crash and render it again. And but we did it, and now we're at 5.2 in Unreal. And it's amazing. Some of the tech is just mind blowing, and you're going to see. What you saw was the original trailer, just like the announcement trailer. We've got a teaser trailer coming out shortly, and that kind of shows where we're at now. We kind of the quality has stepped up even from that trailer. But we kind of did it. It was all done in house, so I think there was about 6 of us working on it. And as I mentioned already, it's all done in game, and it shows you what, like, often when you see trailers, they're pre-rendered, done in a different 3D package. No, this is actually in game. This is what it's going to look like. This is the quality that we're going for.
Yeah, I mean, the level of detail, the sound, the lighting is just absolutely amazing. But that's not all we're here to see, is it? There's something else we want to show today.
Yes.
And so that's what we're all here for. Guys, I'll let you take it away.
Cool. Yeah, so maybe, Arran, we're making the game, I guess, a bit different than we have in the past. So we make live ops games. That's kind of our bread and butter. We work a year and a half, 2 years, create it, release it, and then update continuously with features based on the community. We've been, building communities around our games for over 10 years now. And so this game, we've released the garage area. If it's actually, it should be available now when this comes out. You might need a premium keychain, but eventually it'll be unlocked for everybody. But we're releasing it, and areas are unlocked over time, basically increasing the utility of your NFTs and unlocking more gameplay based on everybody's feedback in Discord and other social channels. So we're building it alongside other players. There's multiple reasons for that, but one of them is that we want to build a game that people actually want. We don't want to work on such a large game for 3 years and work out that no one likes the features that we worked on and they actually wanted XYZ. If we were developers worth our salt, we'd have a fair idea of that already. But it's the nuance that really makes the game special, and we want to build that alongside the community. And that starts with this garage preview, which has a kind of set of features that will be expanded on. So let's jump in. This is the landing screen, which you'll actually see in the trailer, the new trailer that's coming up. So we can enter in here. And this is your garage. So you can do many different things here, from customizing to accessing the drifting when that comes out, the shop, so buying, selling your parts for your car, profile area. You can customize your profile, your driver avatar, community area. We'll come back to these actually, because we can touch on each point. Community area is really a big important part. The workbench, the crew area, which is under construction. It's messy. That's what most garages look like, actually. And so we head back here. See our beautiful Nissan 370Z. So we're working with Nissan to bring kind of their first entry into the NFT space, digital collectibles. and they've been amazing to work with. Come in here, go swap cars. So one of the things we're doing differently from our previous games is there's different models of cars, right? There's the 370Z, there's the S15 and S13, etc. And they were released in different variants in the real life. Maybe it's the 40th anniversary or the 50th anniversary or the Type X or the Series 1 and Series 2, as with the 370Z. And so as a player, a first-time player, you can come in here and utilize the base model of that car. And then if you want to, maybe you'll earn or purchase off the website, the store, the special variants that have a limited supply, which is what we're utilizing NFTs for. But one of the cool things we're doing is that supply is actually based on the real world production volume of those vehicles. So say there's 5,000 of the Nismo 2s and different, I'm not going to go through all the numbers, I'm going to get myself in a mess here, but you have the different variants sold different quantities in real life, and we create a ratio from that we use for the mint. And we also do that for the paint codes, the real world paint codes of those cars. And the purchase experience, if you're coming in, you're purchasing one of those variants of the Nissan 370Z, you'll get a random variant of that car and a random paint code. And so maybe you get a super rare variant and a more common paint code of that car, or you might get a more common variant and a super rare paint code, like the Midnight Purple or something like that. So there's a really interesting user flow for cars, and you can see some of those variants here in the game. You've got the Nismo 2, you've got the Series 2, the 40th anniversary here, and we've got the Nismo here, which vary in different ways. The Nismo 1, different interior, different seats, different steering wheel, body kits, most different in terms of the bumper there and the wheels. You can see some of these other cars.
I love that. I love that approach to rarity, and not just slapping, here's a common, here's a rare, here's a legendary, but really kind of tying it to what it would be in the real world. And I love that.
Yeah, it's something that really excites myself and Arran. Just referencing the real world as much as possible. It's like what we're trying to represent already exists, right, in car culture. Like the Type X, you go on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace. Type X's have like more weight to them than just the regular like C18 pig nose. They call it pig nose. And
what's interesting about that as well is if you look at it in a game sense, you go to something like a Forza, for example, and you go and customize your car. You might have different, let's say, purchase prices of different paint jobs and stuff like that, but it's nothing like this where the rarity is baked into the actual car itself and the production of that. So it's fascinating.
We've had many discussions about how we can link in VIN codes into it, because like the concept around, if you own it and then you can enter your VIN code and then get your actual car in the game with the same color spec, all that kind of stuff, I think that's super, super cool. But if technically we don't know how one person can claim it and have ownership over someone else who says that they have that one. So there is a technical hurdle that we have to get past. But if any of your listeners can work out a technical solution to that, we would love to do it. I think there's some really cool aspects.
Awesome. Yeah, there you go. We'll set a bounty if someone can come up with a genius solution. I'll send you a bobblehead myself.
I was even trying to work, because the thing is, you need to like verify real world ownership of vehicles at scale, right? And turns out that's hard, because registries of vehicles in different states, like even different states in the US, is different, let alone around the world. But if there was some way we could do it, that'd be amazing.
I kind of thought like someone standing in front of the car, holding a GMG badge.
Yeah. Just imagine someone going around claiming other people's cars.
They just see him in the street.
Hey, come back. But that would be cool. Maybe in the future, maybe there'll be a way. But we can come in here and, as we've kind of mentioned, customization, big part of car culture in general, but also drifting and the game. We've really gone kind of above and beyond what we would have done in our previous games, which heavily focus on customization as well. But we can come in here and you have two different areas. There's the exterior and interior. Go to the exterior. And all of these different areas of the car here are completely customizable, from real world branded parts, from straps, tow hooks, splitters, canards, headlights, fenders, front wheels, side skirts, etc., etc. We go down here to the diffuser, exhaust tips, bumpers, wings. There's even some roof customization, which we might explore in the future. So we can come in here, and if we go to side mirrors as well, the wheels, you can kind of dig into here. You go tires, alloys, lug nuts, calipers, discs. So we can go even one further in and take a look at some of the alloys. So you can come in here, customize your car. These are all real world branded parts. So Koenig have been amazing to work with. We represent a host of their alloys in the game. Ampliform, Diverge, etc. Kansai, another amazing brand. Probably should have added a thing at the start here. This is like an internal build, so there are things that are not finished.
Please don't point out the issues.
You're like, that's wrong. We know.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. But we really wanted to showcase something for this call and kind of give you an early look at these things. So put some of these rend forms in here.
Yeah, this is a major alpha, guys. So appreciate you sharing all of this. Love it.
Yeah,
like crazy.
Got some lug nuts.
Amazing.
We got the default icon in there, which.
Can we get some lug nuts with Arran's face on it? Can we?
Yeah, good.
No one wants to see my I think like the exterior stuff is cool. Like this mostly has been seen before. What gets me super excited is what we're doing on the interior, and I think
spoilers.
The level of interior customization, is just crazy.
Let's just chuck some nice.
Do we get to see any of that?
Yeah.
Or was that
we do. Let's put some big slotted.
Ooh.
I'll go those ones. I'll show some exhaust tips, some Valvetronic exhaust tips on there. I love these dual tips actually, because I know one of our 3D artists working on the shader to really get that heated like treatment on the metal. It looks so good, and we'll show that when we go into the photo booth area. The carbon fiber as well. You can zoom straight up right into these exhaust tips, and they look incredible. So
you just said photo booth.
Yes. It's foreshadowing. But we'll jump into the interior now.
I love that you're just having so much fun. I can just see it. Like you just while you're doing this, you're like,
yeah,
it's great.
I play this every morning.
This shit is hard. I'm just. We make it look easy.
But we have a zoom around the interior here. Interior paneling. So there's going to be some customization in terms of the actual areas of the interior paneling for each car. Dash aesthetics. So you got that bobblehead in the background, Matt. You're going to be able to put that in your car as well. Steering wheels, keychains, got roll cages, hand straps, seats, handbrakes. Oh, my favorite. I pushed it so hard. Air fresheners. You're gonna be able to put air fresheners in here.
I've got a sex wax one right here.
We should do a deal with sex wax.
Sex wax if you're watching.
No, seriously, I'm stoked about this feature because you're gonna have your whole interior car decked out, and you're gonna be drifting around sideways, and you're just gonna have 10 trees just like bulked up.
Yes.
So I love that, with your bobblehead kind of like wobbling around. But yeah, let's
slapping the bobblehead in the face.
Yeah. Let's jump in here. So there's one aspect that's missing here. So you'll notice all of the shifter knobs are like basically on the bottom of the shifter. There will be an extension rod for some of those ones that need it, but a lot of them in here are just straight on the bottom. So we've got a host of parts from NRG. Another amazing brand that we work with, Mishimoto, been fantastic as well.
How freaking cool is this, man? No, seriously. I actually haven't seen the build get to this point, so I'm pretty excited. This is absolutely crazy.
I know. I'm make sure in post that the camera's not on me, because I'm gonna pick my jaw off the ground a couple of times here. It's so cool.
Yeah. So it's
and all of these parts are real. Do you know what I mean? So we sign real brands, and you can actually go to the shop, which we make an online store.
Yeah, talk about that.
You can buy these parts. Yeah, so as part of the deals that we sign, we also are going to have the ability to sell parts in real life. So, you know, you might buy the NFT of Kansai wheel or Koenig wheel, and you know you could go straight to the store and you could get a discount on that on that wheel. So yeah, we're trying to interweave the two worlds, you know, the virtual and reality,
digital and physical worlds of motorsport. Yeah. So as Arran said, you have the NFT, get a discount on the real part. If you buy the real part, you might get the NFT for free to put in your car. So it's the two different people kind of coming in and enjoying the games. So let's jump in here.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's what's clear about all of this is that the amount of thought and love and effort you guys have put into this, and just to think, even the thinking around the physical and digital. I mean, that's something that you see so many discussions going on in the space about. Wouldn't it be amazing if? But you guys are really making it possible. So that's something that's awesome to see, and I'm sure when the viewers actually, and when the communities start to, clock onto this, I think that's something that they're gonna really love.
It's funny you say that, Matt, because it's like internally we're like, what if? And then we're just like, we can actually do that, so let's just do that. So it's nice to be in a position where, we've built up these connections with these people, and we have the tools, the resources, the talent upstairs. We're sitting on the first floor of a multi-story building, and we're able to do this stuff. So it's really cool. Let's put this one on because I like that. Go down to. Alright, go some seats.
I don't think I've seen any game with seat customization. Generally because you're in the driver's seat, so you don't see it. But we really want to kind of go all out on that because we've signed like NRG, make some amazing seats, and their sister company is Prisma. I'm trying to get some of the stuff on our drift cars. So.
Yeah. So let's put these on because they're kind of nice.
I love that, and the thing you guys teased as well with the photo booth, I think that will really come into play with that, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna put. There's a test roll cage we've got in here. It's not a final mesh or anything, but it looks sick. So I'm gonna put it on. Okay.
It intersects.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on because it's just a little teaser. So.
Straight into the air.
That's what they do apparently. That actually goes. All right, so yeah, you customize your car in here, and we're able to head into the photo booth.
Ooh, different feature.
So this area is an area where it really shows off your car and everything you've done to customize it. We can head into a drone here. in these different environments and take an up close look at our beauty.
Amazing. So where are we now? Where is this?
This is
environment.
We've called Drift School. So we're gonna have with a bug with that alloy. We'll fix that.
I've got to say that fitment is making me gag a little bit.
The fitment, yeah, we'll fix that.
The stance.
Fitment, please. Yeah, that's all going to be tunable, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
so that's like the first thing.
Yeah.
Like lower.
Yeah, stance. Camber on the front. Chunky tires. This is the drift school. So we imagine there will be, a playable environment, driving to actually learn to drift on an environment like this. We can zoom in here, take a look at those exhausts.
Oh.
Ooh.
Ben L will be happy showcasing those.
Go look at the tail lights.
Amazing.
On the tail lights, yeah.
Oh my god, I've never been so excited about tail lights.
Yeah, it's funny, like tail lights are
wow.
Tail lights are hard, and we probably the most realistic tail lights we've done they are in any of our games.
That's incredible.
Roll cage, look how sick that looks on the right.
We'll forget that it goes into the event.
Yeah. So you can come in here and check out what we did before in the garage. Got our shifter there, we got our seats, we got our steering wheel, and we can come back here, zoom out, take some sweet screenshots. And go to a few other different scenes.
Ooh, this one looks cool. Wow. That's amazing.
This is like nighttime, like Neo.
One thing I was just thinking. Sorry, go on, Aaron.
No, I was going to say, you're onto something when you're excited to look at your own stuff that you've been looking at for 2.5 years. Do you know what I mean? Like it's kind of weird.
One thing I was going to say is what I've noticed is the music is gone, but there's something special about the music and the soundtrack to what you guys are doing. So why don't you?
Yeah, we work with a company called Samplify. They're local to us, and they're basically I'm gonna balls this up, but these guys they're like DJs going way back, and they produce music. They make all their music, and it's amazing. Like I sit in their studio, and they put on a track, and I'm like, I freak out. I'm like, you made this for us, and it is so good. So you listen to the soundtrack, and it's all been commissioned music and all made from scratch, and they get the vocalists, and they do all the music backing, and it's just crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's really special. And then we spent a lot of time referencing motorsport culture, I guess, like the music that represents this kind of game, and I think we've really captured it, like a diverse range of music that still feels like it's in this world. And that was really fun to work on that. It's the first kind of album for the game, but there will be more. We can come in here.
So where are we now?
We're in the Salt Flats. So there's a kind of a festival going on over here, but we just kind of like brought our car over here and take a few shots. And so there's a few of these. If you are a premium keychain holder, you can go to our website, torquemotorsport.io. You can download that, and you can have a play around. So there's lots of stuff that isn't represented here that we are working on and that is coming. So it's kind of exciting. We're releasing bits and pieces, but we've done a lot more than what we're showing. So really excited to be able to get that out to everybody. Head back to the garage.
That fitment is.
We get swapped to one of the other cars.
So it's just some questions around the photo booth. Things like the photos that you take of your car. Let's say you come up with the perfect scene and you think, yes, this is it. What can you do with the photos? Are they going to be NFTs, for example? Because something that I imagine is having.
That's a good idea.
Having someone that is, an incredible, let's say, automotive journalist that comes in and takes some beautiful, or sets up these beautiful scenes, creates some amazing photos, and then is able to, let's say, put them in a collection. I think that's something that would be really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, definitely is an option. At the moment, so we utilize them for, photography competitions, allow people to share them online. You've got this photo library here. You can come in here and take a look at your shots. There will be more extensive, that's one of my other cars in that one, more extensive photo editing capabilities in engine. I imagine people are going to take it out and edit them in other ways as well, but we'll feature, depth of field, adjustments, adjustments to hue, saturation, exposure. So, yeah, that's the photo booth area and the photo library. And there's one other area, you can come in here. There's one really cool feature here that will probably go unnoticed, but that
some might say it's the best feature.
Some might say it's the best feature. I know one person in the company that I think would agree.
It's an active clock.
It just changed.
And that's the actual time.
That's the actual time.
I just looked down at the time there, and I was like, hang on, that's cool.
So
it just annoyed me when we're in this scene and the clock just didn't animate, and I'm just like, I just complained about it so much. One of the developers did it, and I was like, congratulations.
Yeah,
that's
well
why
done.
the game's late.
But it's a bit like that casino effect, right? If you have a clock that's always stuck on 10 a.m., you'll just have people playing this for days, right? So it's maybe keep it static.
Maybe we should slow down time.
Slow down time.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, if you connect your wallet up on the Torque Motorsport.io account, you'll be able to come in. It's got the wrong icon, so ignore that. But you'll be able to see your keychains in here, which are in your wallet, and they will have more functionality as the game progresses. There'll be a full kind of keychain and key editor here, just like if you pulled your keys out, Matt. I'm sure there's a bunch of things and bobs hanging off it. So that's kind of something that's really popular in the car culture and drifting, and so we wanted to represent that here.
Never fits into my pocket, but hey, fits into your wallet. So there you go. You get all the keychains you want.
I mean, there's lots of different areas here that'll be unlocked over time. They're the feature set that is available now, and a little bit of sneak peek what we're working on. So yeah, stoked to show it off, and for everyone watching to be part of the game as it grows and we add features. So
that fan should animate.
The fan, it's not plugged in. It's realism.
No, I mean, guys, this has been awesome. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but this was amazing. Just the work that you guys have put into this, the attention to detail and everything. I love the spirit that you guys have of what if and just going and doing it. I think that's something that is just such an amazing quality to have. So before we go, where can our viewers find you guys and get to learn more about what you guys are building?
I think YouTube is a big one for us. We make a lot of original content around cars and motorsport events and drifting. Alex Martini is over there just making killer content. We also do our media team internally makes a lot of content around the behind the scenes stuff, how we're actually making this game. So you can watch it and see how we use 3D LiDAR scanners to scan cars, how we use a drone LiDAR scanner to scan tracks, and see what we're actually doing here outside of what you just see on the screen. So head over there, Torque Motorsport.io YouTube channel, and also on Instagram, we're over there as well. Twitter, obviously, big one.
Discord.
torquemotorsport.io. If you go to the website, you'll be able to find all of those socials. But now you can go to the website, sign up for an account, check the newsroom as well. We're signing new brands and doing announcements there all the time. So it's super exciting time at the moment. We've been cooking, as they say, we've been cooking for a year and a half.
Let them cook. Let them cook.
Stuff's finally coming out the oven. So
I'll do the classic YouTube thing and just say that I'm going to put all the links in the description below. So make sure you go check that out. But Arran, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say we're definitely not half-assing this, and we're doing everything we can to make an amazing experience. Web3 does open up a lot of angles of development and design that were not capable before. So, yeah, and you can see we're just trying to tie it together, and I think we're definitely headed the right way. So.
Yeah, and I mean, like what we see here and what you guys have just demoed is something that we haven't seen in the REVV Motorsport ecosystem before, and you guys are just adding such an incredible amount of firepower to it that I think holders of the past and present, as well as future holders coming into the ecosystem, gamers, collectors, and just car enthusiasts are all going to be extremely excited at what they see. I'm extremely excited. I know, for example, garage features is something that I spend a lot of time when playing racing games or car related games is something I spend a lot of time doing. So I'm super excited. Arran, Billy, thank you guys so much for featuring on episode 2 of the REVV Show. I'm sure there's a lot more stuff we're going to go into in the coming months. So any final thoughts?
No, stay tuned, stay sideways.
You're welcome. I don't know. Yeah.
You're welcome. Thanks, Matt. It's been fun.
Awesome, guys. Thank you very much. Speak to you soon.